Hello everybody, welcome to the side of a very steep hill. Today, we've got a bit of a fun video with a couple of segmented tests. Bosch Gen 4 race motor. We are here on the Bosch Gen 5 on the Santa Cruz Vala, where we're gonna be comparing the Bosch Gen 5 drive unit against the Gen 4 race drive unit. Some really interesting numbers and comparisons here. The Shuttle LT here is obviously one of our very favorite bikes, and some criticize it's come out with the Gen 4 race unit instead of the newly released Gen 5. So we thought it'd make for a great video and some fun tests for our own knowledge and to share it with you guys on just how different and similar these two drive units are. Let's get into it. Soundbite of the CXR drive unit. Gen 5 drive unit sound test. Before we get started, we just want to say that this is not a sponsored or paid video in any way. Bosch and neither of the bike brands contributed into this project. This is something we just really wanted to set out and do. I wanted to see just how big of a difference the Gen 5 was on the Santa Cruz Vala compared to that Gen 4 race drive unit. I'm going to talk a little bit about the test parameters, what we did, and why we also are fully aware this isn't exactly a scientific test. So, first up, they're two different bikes. They have two different suspension platforms, two different travel. The weight is not exactly the same, and the battery size is different, right? So why that's important is as the battery discharges, there's going to be a slight difference in the power output. You could say we tried to do all of these tests with the batteries at or as close to as 100% as possible so that they would be able to give the fullest and most amount of assist possible. Second up, also tires are different. We are well aware that the rolling resistance there is different. But again, this is kind of why we've not done some of the tests like comparing battery range and so forth, right? Because there's a long list of reasons why the tests can't be direct comparisons, right? There's just so many variables, and we're well aware of that. The two primary tests that were conducted were an extremely steep hill climb.
I could definitely use a bottle of oxygen right now.
I'm calling it the impossible hill climb here because even with the most tacky and sticky dirt possible, it's nearly impossible to make it up this hill climb. And primarily because of how steep it is, keeping that front wheel down and still maintaining some traction is just nearly impossible. The second hill climb would be what I would say is a little bit more common for folks. It starts out with a short kind of single track grade hill with some very mellow rock gardens, and then it banks into a medium gradient fire road climb that is kind of rocky and chunky. So let's get into the drive units at a glance. The Gen 4 race drive unit has a 600 watt maximum power output with 250 watts of continuous power. Just like the Gen 5, that max power is delivered at about 70 RPMs. Like the CXR, the Gen 5 has 600 watts of max power at the cadence of 70 RPMs and continuous power output of 250 watts. Also, the Gen 4 race drive unit puts 400% maximum support power, whereas the Gen 5 has 340%. So right there, we are talking about more power just off the charts on the Gen 4 race unit, the CXR. How does it pan out on the trail? Let's go find out.
Ready, set, go.
Current temperature is about 44 degrees, so I think that's going to help with keeping that drive unit cool. This is kind of where it starts to get a little steep here. Really got to get on the nose of the saddle here. Oh boy, getting restarted with the race mode is tricky, but also helpful.
How does that give any perspective? Clock's ticking.
Oh. Let's kind of check in with the bike. 7:45 was the time. Let's see what kind of battery consumption we had on that climb. All right, guys. So 87% left the car with 100%, and yeah, dropped to 87%. So it's a really short pedal from the car to the bottom of that hill climb. I bet you maybe 2% at most got used on that pedal over. So the majority of that 87% used on that climb is definitely telling as to how hard that drive unit was working. So let's go down, do a bike swap, and see how much battery gets consumed going up that climb on the Santa Cruz Vala with the Bosch Gen 5 drive unit.
Ready, set, start. All right. Well, right from the get-go, I can definitely tell the Gen 5 doesn't have the initial get up and go punch as the Gen 4 race drive unit does. This has a different battery size than the Pivot, so the rate of discharge to power is going to be different. I think one of the reasons I'm struggling so hard, besides sucking and being out of shape, is this hill's so steep. I'm having to bend over so far to weight the front end that my lungs are not filling with air. Oh, come on, dude. Different kind of fatigue from each of these drive units. That last one, I was way more winded. This one, my whole body feels more tired. And ready, stop time.
81%, hopefully you guys can see that here, but yeah, 81%. Again, left the van with 100%, same ride to the bottom of the hill climb and up the hill climb. So from a pure performance standpoint, power, assistance up the hill, speed, all that sort of stuff, yeah, that Gen 4 race is on par, and in some aspects does have a little better power.
Okay guys, we are here at the start of climb stage number 2. Very different challenge, so let's see what our time is. Set, go. Would it help if I put that stopwatch on, not upside down? Might be the most traction I've ever had there on that left. I'm at 1 minute and 45 seconds right now. I'm trying to spin a little bit of a higher cadence instead of mashing hard gear, but pretty solid all around. 3 minutes and 11 seconds right here. All right, I'm gonna go to this tree up here on the right. Time is, boom, 4:01:99. Shuttle LT Bosch Gen 4 race drive unit. Hill climb challenge number 2, go. I feel like I was carrying way more speed in that little bit right there. I noticed that it seems like this drive unit excels a little bit, or accelerates a little more there. Almost like it's delivering power a little longer. I'm trying to match my effort. Obviously, bro science, this isn't a lab, so I can't exactly guarantee my effort, but I'm doing my best. I notice here in these false flats, I'm finding myself shifting harder gear, harder gear, harder gear, because it keeps delivering power. That might be one spot this thing took the edge. I'll see at the next split here. All right. 344.
All right, so we just finished the second climb, 344.02 out of the Gen 4 race drive unit and 401.99. So we'll round that to 344 and 402. So that is a pretty significant difference on a roughly 4-minute climb. 344 to 402, that's huge. I think, I don't know, while I can't predict the future and what's gonna happen with Gen 5 and any updates that may arise, what I can say as of right now is that the Gen 4 race unit, as far as battery efficiency, you know, watts per mile, as well as speed, like it would absolutely not predict me from scoring a sweet deal on a bike. I would look at a couple of things when you're looking at buying a bike. One is, how important is resale value to you? If you buy a bike and sell a bike every year, resale is probably going to be important to you. So that would maybe be something to consider if you're looking at a Gen 4 race equipped bike, because the vast majority of the public always wants the newest, right? Whether or not it's the best, they want the newest. If you are the type of person who just wants to buy a bike and you're going to ride that bike and have a great time on that bike until it's dead or done, or you're going to sell it when you sell it, I would not hesitate on buying a bike with a Gen 4 race drive unit. The Gen 5 unit has some refinements, absolutely. I like it a lot. It's a great unit. The Gen 4 race, I also really like. So ultimately, what I tell everybody is buy the best bike that works for you as a rider. Buy the best mountain bike, right? Any drive unit is gonna be better than these things. They get you up the hill. So buy something that is gonna be the best for you going down the hill or on the hill, around the corners, or whatever you like to do most. Buy the bike that's best for that first. For me, I would buy the best bike, period, and I would deal with whatever drive unit came on it, because ultimately I'm a mountain biker first. I'm not a gadgets guy first. So there you go, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and my ramblings and some testing for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We'd appreciate seeing you guys back in future videos. Thanks again. Let us know if you have any other questions, comments. How important is a drive unit to you? Does it matter more than how good of a mountain bike it is? I'd be curious. There's no wrong answers, I guess, right? Everyone's different. So thank you guys once again, and we'll see you out on the trails.